We're all too familiar with dumb and absurd decisions characters are prone to making in horror movies, whether running up the stairs instead of out the front door or not shooting the almost dead killer while they had the chance. Horror films can often be infuriating to watch. However, once in a while we encounter a genius move from one of the characters that leaves us applauding their creative tactics. Hey guys, welcome back to Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your host Lucy McPhee. If you're a fan of horror movies, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe so you never miss another scary upload. Now that's out of the way, let's jump into our list of the top 5 smartest decisions in horror movies. And side note, there will be spoilers.
Come and play with us.
In at 5, using a pen to breathe from Saw 5. Now, this is a genius decision made by a horror movie character, but I had to put it at number 5 because Saw. I'm sorry, but the first Saw is the only one I am willing to give credit to, and perhaps a few moments in the second, but that's it. Talk about kicking a dead horse. Anyway, I digress. In Saw 5, we're faced with a new foe, an apprentice to Jigsaw, who at this point is already dead, but his work lives on. FBI agent Peter Strahm is forced to hunt down Jigsaw's protege, which turns out to be a fellow cop, Lieutenant Mark Hoffman. That bastard. Strahm gets caught in an unbeatable trap. A box encases his head and begins to fill up with water, dooming the FBI agent. However, this guy is a quick thinker, whipping out a pen and piercing his own neck, and performing a tracheotomy on himself, allowing him to breathe until help arrives. What a genius. In at 4, using a pig from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. An upstanding remake of a classic horror masterpiece, the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre shows us what a true final girl looks like. In this remake we follow a group of young teens driving cross country as they encounter a helpless hitchhiker. After picking her up, things immediately descend into mayhem for the group as the hitchhiker shoots herself in the head, and the group then stumble across the residence of the chainsaw-wielding Leatherface. In an epic showdown between Erin and Leatherface, she is forced to hide in the Blair Meat Co., aka Leatherface's stomping ground. Knowing she can't outrun the deranged killer, she's forced to get creative. Erin hides in a locker as Leatherface opens each one trying to hunt her down. However, he gets distracted by a noise from a nearby locker. Opening it, we find a 4-legged pig friend. A genius diversion by Erin as she storms out of the locker with a cleaver, cutting off Leatherface's arm and the chainsaw he's holding. In at 3, setting up traps from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now this one's a classic. As we all know, A Nightmare on Elm Street follows the dream hunter Freddy Krueger as he infiltrates the minds of a group of teens as they sleep, and he slays them with his knife hands in brutal fashion, which in turn kills them in reality. However, our protagonist wasn't for this and decided to take her fate into her own hands. After realizing she can pull things out of her dream, aka Krueger's hat, she sets up elaborate traps around her home and a system to wake her up in order to pull the Midnight Mangler out of her dream. And that she does. In an epic showdown, Nancy faces off against Freddy, pulling him into reality and eventually setting him on fire. However, Krueger does of course return in the final moments of the film, making us question whether Freddy can ever really be defeated or if he'll forever haunt our dreams. In at number 2, literally everything Erin does in You're Next. I've been waiting so long to talk about this film on camera and my chance has finally come. You're Next is a 2011 slasher film that follows the Davisons, an upper class family that come together to celebrate their parents' wedding anniversary in order to mend their broken family ties. But things don't go according to plan. During the family dinner, a crossbow wielding assailant attacks, forcing the family to band together in order to survive. However, the real twist comes when we learn our leading lady Erin, played by Shani Vincent, has some Liam Neeson meets John Wick style skills and goes about taking down the assailants in a brutal manner. From a blender to kill and a knife in the head, Erin doesn't even hesitate when she's slaying her attackers and setting up traps around the mansion to fool them, including the classic nail on a plank of wood. She's the ultimate final girl and literally everything she does in this film is iconic. If you haven't watched it, you should go do that now. And finally in at number 1, Danny from The Shining. After becoming a caretaker at an isolated hotel in Colorado, Jack begins to unravel the mystery surrounding the mysterious place, while his mind betrays him, turning him into a homicidal maniac, hunting down his family in order to slay them just as the previous caretaker had done. Now, in this epic showdown between Jack and his family, you know, right after he goes, "Here's Johnny" on their Danny slides out of the window, being forced to leave his mother behind. He hides amongst the snow until his father begins hunting him down. Danny runs towards the hotel's hedge maze, hoping to lose his deranged father amongst the twists and turns. And that he does. Danny quickly realizes that he's unable to outrun his dad, so he backtracks through his own steps and hides amongst the hedges in order to throw Jack off his scent. Jack continues searching aimlessly, eventually succumbing to the cold and freezing in the deep depths of the winding maze. Danny then follows his footsteps out and is reunited with his mother. God bless. Well, there we have it. What did you make of these decisions? Were there any that we missed? Leave us a comment down below and perhaps we can do a part 2. While you're down there, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified anytime we post a new scary vid. If you want to continue on this horror binge, be sure to hit that playlist floating above for some more scary classics. And until next time, see you later.